so dusty. It looks like paving.
Well, I mean, I actually tried to throw it out. Throw it in the bin.
I know, but this is the model that made me fall in love with you.
I was like, who puts a golf course next to a swimming pool? And I think that's when I really started. And then I'm like, who did this?
And I believe you've put the kiddie pool closest to the golf course.
I guess the original idea was this, slippage of play.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. We met at Columbia Graduate School of Architecture. What was my skill? Our tool as architects, I guess, is to draw, and for me and Ping, it's also a way for us to communicate. In the bedroom, we can put more furniture in there too. So we're really excited to start looking for a place together.
Or would a heart-shaped bed be too big? Would that fit?
I don't know. Let's try that.
You know, the first date we had brunch at the Pierre, we went to the Frick, we saw some jazz, and the second date was the same.
Like this?
Mm-hmm.
So that you can, when you're coming out from the kitchen.
Then we had a third date, but it just went horribly, horribly wrong. And it was this terrible concert, and I was wearing a terrible outfit. And
we don't actually know what happened, except that we didn't enjoy ourselves at all, so much so that we decided just to be friends.
One of my ideal apartments would be like
But I mean, I think this kind of layout apartment is totally not for us.
My mom had somehow fixated on this Aimee person. I don't know why. I didn't really describe her in detail. And she's like, oh, I love this Aimee person. Who is she? I want to see her. I'm like, Mom, it's okay. It's okay. You'll see her at graduation. So at graduation, we're up there. I heard suddenly behind me somebody say, is that Aimee? Very, very loudly. So of course I turned around. I haven't talked to Aimee for several weeks at this point, maybe a month. And she's like, oh, blah, 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 Ping told me all about you, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. This is so embarrassing. Ping's mom and my mom knew about our dating. Our dads had no clue, but they knew that we had dated and things hadn't worked out. My dad hadn't overheard any of this. I mean, he was standing there, but dads don't really listen when moms talk, so he came over and he had a camera with him. He's like, oh, everybody, he thought we were all friends. He's like, let's get a picture together. I think the following evening, Ping called me up around 11 p.m. I asked her out on another date, and it ended up being a really amazing date, and that's when we started, and it sort of rolled on from there. I guess there was never a period of wondering, I wonder where this is going to go, or, I wonder if he likes me. It was never like that. Within probably a year and a half of dating, he surprised me. I was planning on going to a lecture, an architecture lecture downtown with a lot of my friends for an old professor. And so I was out with them, I went to the lecture, I was having drinks, and I get this call from Ping that says, Aimee, there's an exhibit at the chapel and it's closing tonight. And I'm always wanting to go to strange exhibits in strange places, so she believed me. We got up to campus and we made a turn into the cathedral on campus. And it's this beautiful small dome building right adjacent to the architecture school. And so we walk down the darkened aisle and we get to the very end of the aisle. And I turned to her and I said, well, you probably know what's going to happen next. And he got down on one knee. And rather than asking me, Aimee, will you marry me, he handed me this sketchbook. So it was fantastic. And it was a cork sketchbook. I opened the sketchbook and he had carved out space for a ring that he had designed.
A series of diamonds kind of rotating.
But it's great because not only did I get this reward and this reward, I also got this to, to sort of remember forever that moment.